Handicapper Steve here, handicapping in the racing from Royal Ascot here on day 4 of the festival. It is Friday, the 19th of June, 2020. We're going to look at almost all the races on the program from Ascot, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kit 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and join me tomorrow for the final day of Royal Ascot and also for my Belmont Stakes preview. But, we're out to the penultimate day from Royal Ascot. It's a good card here, but we won't be looking at all the races. The second and third race, 150 and the 225, we won't be looking at, the Albany and the Norfolk. They're 2-year-old races, and I just don't like looking at 2-year-old races early on in the season because they're either, everybody's making their second start, and today with the wild card of the soft ground, they're just going to be random results, and I just can't, my integrity can't give out a selection for this race, so we won't be looking at the second and third, but the other races are great, wide open, fun races, so let's get to it. Let's get to the opener, the 115 from Ascot. The 115, the opener from Ascot, it is the Palace of Holyroodhouse Handicap. It's a Class 2 handicap going for a purse $46,500. Race for 3-year-olds only. Horses rated 0 to 105. We have a field of 22 horses going to the turf course, rated soft today, so it's going to be throwing a monkey wrench in to the day, but they're going the distance of ground of 1,000 meters or 5 furlongs on the Ascot turf course. 1,000 meters, 5 furlongs, and I show the diagram. It just gives me a second to look down my notes. Just bear with me. My top selection here, I'm going to go with the 6-horse Will to Win. We'll go 6-13 in the forecast exacted, but to tell you the truth, any of these 2 horses can win, so we'll definitely use them both in the place pot. But we'll start off with the 6-horse Will to Win. This 3-year-old gelding by Showcase and recently gelded, so first time gelding, but Simon Christopher trains. William Buick gets the mount. Most recently, the horse ran the 4th of March at Lingfield, 6 furlongs on a Class 3 handicap, and he finished second by 2 1/4 lengths there, and he was with them early on. He had the lead for a split portion when he got caught by the winner, who just ran that better race, but he ran decently that day. 2 back in a Class 3 handicap at Lingfield, 6 furlongs on the pod track, 8th of February, and he won by a half length there, and he sat back early, slowly moved his way up, with a high weight of 133 pounds. He got the job done as the favorite, and then over Settle, 6 furlongs on the 5 sand in a Class 3 handicap, and he won by 2. Again, had a great trip and just destroyed those group of horses. Probably could have won by a little bit more, but they wanted to save the horse there. And then before the Class 5 novice at Wolverhampton, 3/4 on the Tapeta, he won by a half length. Again, he got the lead, and he just kept going. A very easy race. Again, small margin, but it was still a good run. Coming back to turf for the first time in just over a year, shouldn't be a problem. He was drawn very well. I think he'll handle it, given the ground. 6-1, let's use him. Second likeliest winner is the 13-horse Flippa the Strippa, 3-year-old filly by Outstrip, so it's the filly taking on the boys, but Charlie Hills trains. Andre Zini gets the mount. Most recently, this horse ran the Group 3 Cornwallis Stakes at Newmarket over the 5 furlongs, October the 11th. The horse finished 9th by 4 lengths there, and he just stalked but never quickened up. That was a very tough race. Back to a handicap today, more realistic spot. I think he could get a good trip. 2 back at York on the 22nd of August, 6 furlongs in the Group 2 Lowther Stakes, and the horse finished 9th by 7.5 lengths there, and just never really got into it, never really ran a competitive race. But before that, a novice over at Goodwood over the 5/8 mile trip, the horse finished 3rd by 1.5 lengths there, and didn't have the best of trips, but slowly recovered well out of the gates, and slowly moved his way up for a decent third. It wasn't the world's worst. And then before that, the Queen Mary here at Ascot, the horse finished 8th by 8 3/4 lengths there, and just ran absolutely a disgusting race, never really getting into it. But before that was pretty perfect. But coming back here to soft ground, which I think the horse should do well, drawn mid-pack, 15-1. This horse looks like a live chance for the forecast, but and the place pop. But to recap my selections now, for the opener, the 115 from Ascot, it is the Palace of Holyroodhouse Handicap. Gonna go with the number 6-horse Will to Win. We'll also use the 13-horse Flippa the Strippa. We'll go 6-13. Like I said earlier, the second race, the 150 and the 225, the Albany and the Norfolk. I'm not gonna look at those races because they're very tough 2-year-old races. So we're gonna head over to the 4th race now at 3 o'clock, which is a very exciting race, and I can't wait for it. So let's get to it right now. The 3 o'clock, the fourth race from Royal Ascot, it is the Group 2 Hardwicke Stakes. It's a Group 2 event going for a purse of $166,500, race for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a very, very good field of 11 horses heading to the starting gate. The distance of ground, 2,400 meters, or the distance of ground here of 1 mile and 1/2 on the Ascot turf course, 2,400 meters, a mile and a half here in the Hardwicke. And I know that today the featured is the next one, the Commonwealth, but I think this is a better quality race, and I can't wait for it. My top selection, I love the 7-horse Elecram. We'll go 7-2-4 in the Tri-Cash Trifecta. 7-2-4 Tri-Cash Trifecta. Top selection, 7-horse Elecram. 5-year-old horse by Frankel. Mark Johnston trains. Jim Crowley gets the mount. Most recently, the horse ran the 7th of June at Haydock. Monoquarter on good soft ground in the Group 3 Bradier Gerald Stakes, and he finished second by a noseman Lord North, who won earlier this week in the Prince of Wales very impressively. This horse was on the lead that day. He just couldn't get to Lord North, who had the jump on him late, but he still finished well, off the break. Probably wasn't either trying 100%, but coming here back to soft ground, which makes him go up a lot higher in this race to a mile and a half trip that I think he's been crying out for. I think he's sitting on a very good race. 2 back in the Irish Champions at Leopardstown, amount of quarters, 10th to 14th. He finished 7 by 16 and 6 3/4 lengths there. The winner, Magical, ran a terrific race. Magic Wand placed very nicely there, and Anthony Van Dyke, the O'Brien trio, just ran terrific races. This horse just really couldn't get into it, and it wasn't the day to win. But before that, in the Gentleman International at York over the mile 5/16, she finished third by length, or he finished third by length there. And again, he had a good trip that day. He just couldn't quicken up as good as Japan and Crystal Ocean, but he got around the race course well. And then before that, in the Sky Bet York Stakes at York, a mile 5/16, July 27th, he won by 3 3/4 lengths there. And at 7-1, he just had a great dream trip, quickened up nicely, didn't even get to the bottom of the horse. He loves the soft ground that you're going to see today. Like I said, I think he wants a mile and a half, and also he's run decently here at Ascot in the past. He ran last year in the Wolferton, where he finished third by 2 1/4 lengths, and he was really getting around the race course well, but I just think, like I said, the mile and quarter was just too short. He faced some tough horses last year, come to the 5-year-old campaign today. I think he's really sitting on the race of life, so let's take him. Anthony Van Dyke, I think second off the break should really improve a lot. He, most recently in the Coronation Cup, the old Anthony Van Dyke came out. He finished second by 2.5 lengths there, and he was with him early on. Guyatha just had the jump on him. Great ride by William Buick, by the way. But this horse just couldn't keep up with that greatness there. Before that, in the at Sha Tin in the Hong Kong Cup, or Hong Kong Vase, over the mile and a half, he just ran horribly. Absolutely had nothing. A decent third before then, the Breeze Cup turf, and then everything after basically the Derby, he ran crap races. Sovereign won the Irish Derby on the front end. Very great ride by the rider Sovereign that day, who was had raid Beggy. But this horse just couldn't gain the ground late. And then after in the King George over this course at Ascot, he ran horribly that day. Just really hit the wall. And Abel ran the race for life with Crystal Ocean. But coming here to the 4-year-old campaign, off a decent second, I think he could also run a good race. And the 4-horse Defoe, if the ground was a lot faster, I'd probably pick him as a top selection. But he's the kind of horse, he does not like soft ground, but he loves Ascot here. Another horse at 6-1, definitely use him on your place pot, but I'm more excited about Elecram. So to recount my selection for the 4th, the 3 o'clock from Royal Ascot, it's the Group 2 Hardwicke. Let's take as a top selection the 7-horse Elecram. I also give kudos to the 2-horse Anthony Van Dyke and the 4-horse Defoe, and we'll go 7-2-4 in the Tri-Cash Trifecta. Now let's get to the 5th race, the 3:30. Race number 5, the 335 from Ascot. It is the Group 1 Commonwealth Cup. It's Group 1 race for Class 1 horses, going for a purse of $332,500, race for 3-year-olds here. We have a field of 16 horses going to the turf course. The distance of ground is 1,200 meters, with the distance of ground of 6 furlongs on the Ascot lawn, the turf course. 1,200 meters, 6 furlongs. My top selection here in the Commonwealth, I'm going to go with the number 16 horse, Millis Style. I'm going to go 16-4-14 in the Tri-Cash Trifecta. 16-4-14 Tri-Cash Trifecta. Top selection, 16 horse, Millie Isle. This 3-year-old filly by Star Spangled Banner. Jessica Harrington trains when Tom Marquand gets the mount. Most recently, the horse ran 2 weeks ago on the 7th of June at Newmarket, a mile in the Group 1000 Guineas. And the horse finished 7th by 9 3/4 lengths Stakes there, and he was with them early on. Just didn't stay the mile trip late. Quick, weakened out of it. It wasn't the day to win. Cutting back to 6 furlongs, a little less weight, carrying the boys. I think she should really run a good race second off the break. Two back, she ran the Chevrolet Park at Newmarket, 6 furlongs, 10th, 28th on quite fast ground. She won by 1 3/4 lengths, and at 16-1, she got a good, trip early on, and she got the job done. It wasn't the most impressive victories, but like I said, got the job done, beating a Royal Ascot winner, Raffle Prize, who finished second, and then before then the Dick Poole Stakes at Salisbury, 6 furlongs, September the 5th. The horse finished second by a nose there. It was with him early on, got caught right before the wire, but she still ran her heart out there. And then before that, in the Curragh Stakes at the Curragh, 5 furlongs on the 16th of August. The horse won by half length. Again, had the speed to win there. Very good run. But, she's proven she can run on soft ground. She's second off the break, back to a sprinting trip, which I think she'll really like. At 10-1, let's take her to beat the boys. Lupi Fernandez, Lupe Fernandez, whatever the hell you want to call this horse. The 4-horse, 3-year-old called by Lupe de Vega, Verino O'Brien and Ryan Moore. I think it ran also a good race. Most recently, the Irish 2,000 guineas, had a decent third place finish. Could have quickened up a little bit more, but I've seen a lot worse races. Before that, in the Middle Park, he kind of showed that he wants more ground, but before that, he won the Round Tower Stakes at the Curragh very easily, and then he placed behind Pinatubo in the Vintage, and then placed in the Chesham behind Pinatubo. He's another horse coming back to 6. If he gets a good trip, it wouldn't surprise me if he wins. 6-1, definitely use him on your place pot. It might be the best price you might get on an Aidan O'Brien horse this week. So let's take him here. And also, while we talk about him, the number 14 horse, who is Kamar for Wesley Ward, only has one start under her belt this season. That came in the Purple Martin at Oakland on a very sloppy dirt course, going 6 furlongs. The horse won by 1 3/4 lengths, and actually ran a lot better race than I thought she would. She stalked early on, slowly moved her way up, a little bit wide, but she ran a good race, earning 87 by her speed figure. On a surface that she's probably not used to, she ran well, but she's coming back to soft ground here today. She ran this race last year. She ran here last year in the Queen Mary, where she placed behind Raffle Prize, and she just got caught by Raffle Prize late. But she, it wasn't John Velazquez's best ride. But after that, she went the Bolting's Landing very easily at Saratoga on the Mellon Turf Course, and then she won the Indian Summer at Keelan very easily. And then her subpar race was the British Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint, where she just really had a horrible trip from rating. But here at 6-1, I'm going to give her a shot. So to recap my selection for the 5th, the 335 is Group 1 Commonwealth Cup. Let's take the number 16 horse Millie Isle as the top selection, and we'll go 16, 4, 14 in the TriCast trifecta. The 410, the 6th race from Ascot. It is the Group 2 Queen's Vase Stakes. It's Group 2 race going for a purse of $146,500. Race is for 3-year-olds only. We have a field of 9 horses staying the distance of ground of 2,800 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 3/4 on the Ascot turf course. 2,800 meters, 1 3/4 here on the turf course. The top selection, I'm going to go with the number 2 horse here, Berkshire Rocco. We'll go 218 in the TriCast trifecta. 218 TriCast trifecta, top selection 2 horse Berkshire Rocco. They're called by Sir Percy. Andrew Balding trains. Ocean Murphy gets the mount. The horse's most recent out came the 5th of June at Lingfield, a 1/7/16 in the Derby trial. And the horse finished second by 2 3/4 lengths there, and was with them early on. Kind of had to leave for a split portion, but English King got to him. But he didn't weaken out of it. Could have quickened up a little bit better. But I thought off a break he ran a good race. Second off, a longer trip. I think he has a serious chance of running a good race. This is kind of the local St. Ledger trial. St. Ledger's years away still, but I think if he wins today, he's probably your St. Ledger favorite. But 2 back, he ran the Zetland Stakes at Newmarket over the mile and a quarter, 12th of October, and he finished third by 3 3/4 lengths there. And he was, again, he just kind of stalked, never really quickened up to his good potential, but he still didn't run a crap race. And then before that, in novice over at Chester, 7 furlongs, August 31st, the horse won by a length there, and he was stalked. He had the lead, and then he just kept going. He ran the good race, which you need to run at Chester with the tight turns, and he was sitting a little closer to the front end. And then before that, a Goodwood, 3rd of August, 7 furlongs in a maiden race, finished 4th by 1/4 lengths there, but he just could never quicken up. Like I said, I think the trip was just a little bit too short. So staying trip again today, second off the break, 5-2. I think he's a very likely winner. He'll be my best best bet of the day, but 5-2 is the best bet. It's a crap price, I know, so let's take him. So to recap my selection for the 6 to 410 from Ascot's to Group 2 Queens Vase, let's take the 2-horse Berkshire Rocco. We'll go 2-1-8 in the tri-cash trifecta. Let's get to nightcap, the 440 from Ascot. The nightcap, the 440, the 7th race from Ascot. It's the Duke of Edinburgh handicap. It's Class 2 handicap going for a purse of $80,000. Race is for 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 19 horses entered to go the distance of ground of 2,400 meters, or a mile and 1/2 on the Ascot turf course. 2,400 meters, a mile 1/2 turf course. My top selection here, we're going to go with the number 2 horse here, who is El Misk. We'll go 2-7 in the forecast exacta, 2-7 forecast exacta, but to tell you the truth, I think these two can win, so we'll definitely use them in the place pod. But the top selection is 2 horse El Misk, 4-year-old colt by Dancel. John Gosden trains, Frankie Dettori gets the mounts, and by the way, that run by Stradivarius yesterday in the Gold Cup, wow, probably his best race lifetime. This El Misk, his most recent outing came 30th October at Kempton on the poly track, mile and a half in a Class 2 handicap, and he won by 3 3/4 lengths there, and he got a good trip. He stalked, he slowly moved his way up, and when he got the lead, he just went away with it, 80 cents a dollar, even with a high weight. That was very impressive. Coming here, drawn a little bit wide, but I think he'd get a good trip if he sits a little closer, so he's going to have to leave going out of the gate. I trust Frankie with a good ride here today. 2 back in Class 2 handicap at Wolverhampton, a mile and a half, October the 19th, and he finished second by a nose, and again, he sat back early. He just quickened up late. Paths of Glory, who won that day, just had the better jump on him, but this horse just ran as good from where he was drawn that day. And then before that, in a handicap at Yarmouth over the mile 7/16, he finished second by 2 1/4 lengths and 80 cents a dollar. Universal Order, who was running back this one, just ran that better race, but this horse was really, getting a good run also. And then before that, Kempton over the mile and a half and a handicap. He won by 2 1/4 lengths, and again, a very easy run. His 2 best races have come at Kempton, by the way, but his turf races aren't half bad either. He ran a very good place at Windsor over the summer, and but then he ran a dud also at Newmarket before that at the Craven meeting last season. But back to a longer, to a mile and a half. Like I said, he's gonna have to leave from the outside gate, but sitting closer today on the soft ground shouldn't be half bad. H1, very likely a winner, along with the 7 horse Getcha 4-year-old gelding by Champs-Élysées. Clive Cox trains. Adam Kirby gets the mounts. The horse has been seen since the 4th of January at Linkfield, a mile and a half in a Class 2 handicap, and he finished third by 2 1/4 lengths there, and he just couldn't quicken up there. 2-1, that was a very disappointing beat. But before that, at Wolverhampton over the mile and a half in a Class 2, he won by 3/4 length, and he sat back early. He had a great turn of foot, and he got the job done. Wasn't the most flashiest victories, but he still ran a good race. But his mile and a half races haven't been half bad. He likes Ascot, and Ascot's the kind of horse for course kind of course. So at 20-1, we'll definitely put him on your exacta and forecast and place pot tickets. I do know exact forecast, same exact thing, just same thing, different words. But definitely use them in the place pod. But to recap my bet selection for the 7th, the 440 from Ascot's Duke of Edinburgh Stakes, let's take as a top selection the number 2 horse El Misk. We'll also give kudos to the 7 horse Getcha, and we'll go 2-7 in the forecast exacta, 2-7 in the place pod. So good luck to all, and join me tomorrow for the final day of Royal Ascot, and also tomorrow for my Belmont Stakes preview. Good luck, everybody.